Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Al Bender, and he is going to rip a Galaxy 2022 hobby box. So we haven't seen these in a minute. These boxes are going for roughly retail $300 to $350 still. Sometimes you can get a deal of less than that, like $275 or maybe $250 if it's at auction or something. But what we can expect is anywhere from 3 to 5 number cards in the box. In terms of an auto, we will see an auto. Is it going to be numbered? Is it going to be somebody we care about? Or is it going to be a bartender or somebody useless? This is all the make or break of this. Is there a sketch in this pack? There could be a sketch. We're going to definitely pull of the inserts 2 video game covers, 2 vintage cards, and 2 original trilogy concept arts. Question is, will those be numbered, or are we getting all based on that stuff? That's what's in these boxes. This box is a gamble. Where's your head at right now? Is this a lucky box, or is this a box that's going to go?
I have no idea, but what I will say is since I don't have very many of the base cards, I have like a handful of them. This will be fun for me because basically all of them will be new.
There you go. It's a win-win all around.
Yeah, let's do it. I've only opened 1 autograph card in my entire life of opening cards. So
1 autograph card. And what was it?
It was a Dalton Varsho paper card in Gypsy.
This one?
Top set. Yeah, literally that one that you have at your house is the only one that I've ever opened.
The one I've been waiting for, like, the right pricing tier at PSA to send in, and here we are, like, a year later, it's still sitting on my desk.
Exactly. That really just says a lot about what that card is worth.
It's like, I don't want to spend $50 to grade it if it's, like...
No. It's not worth remotely close to that. It's like maybe a $20 card.
Yeah, so to spend more than that just to grade it seems kind of silly. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Let's talk about Star Wars Galaxy. Let's get right into it. Very excited to this. So I've personally ripped at least 10 on the channel. I've recorded a few other people opening up Galaxy, and yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure. I personally have ended up going through a big spreadsheet, as anybody else can see over here, of all the different like parallels while Al is cracking this open. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for it. I just kind of was like, let's just buy the cheap ones. I did pull some decent ones that are worth something, but most of the stuff I've bought is off of auctions. Always looking for a good deal there. Did complete the green sketch variation set. Think I'm dabbling into purple. Not sure about that. Didn't really care that much about vintage. Original trilogy concept art's not bad, and it's a very attainable set for like a numbered set. But one of the big appeals of this is the video game art cards. Those are really cool. So I'm excited to see what Al rips with these. You know, what we're going to get. Are these going to be numbered? Because we're definitely going to get those insert cards. The question is, are they numbered? And if so, how low do they go? To really get your money back on a box like this, you need to pull, maybe an X-Fractor at least. And if the auto is decent, that's the real question too. I mean, with the right auto, you could definitely change the game for sure. You could get some massive triple, auto or dual auto that's going to definitely pay for the box and then some. But those are quite rare and hard to come across. But all these cards are beautiful, right? I mean, I think when we're talking about 2021 Galaxy, 2022 Galaxy, 21 Galaxy is still like twice the price of these, but that could be because of the COVID hype when these all came out. And these do have borders, which are also not as popular as the non-border ones. And the centering and the quality control is not as good. So to get a good quality or well-centered bordered card with Galaxy is also going to be a challenge here if we do get, a great card. So I'll let you run with this, but I just needed to get that out there. So the base cards and refractor cards sometimes can be confusing as well. You have to look at the back to see what it says. If it says nothing, then it's base. If it says refractor, it's refractor, for those who don't haven't seen this box before. And generally, the third card is the one that's going to be the potential hit, either the insert or the variation. This looks like an atomic card. Is this 83 or 82? What is this?
It's 83, 137 of 150.
All right. So I was getting kind of close there. So yeah, the atomic series of the refractors, although numbered the highest ones to 150, tend to be the more popular ones. They just look really cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Versus Wave and Prism is not typically as followed. The Mojo refractor for 50s are pretty neat, but the atomic ones are very popular with collectors. And the fact that there's enough of them to get a set, it's possible to do it. It'd be challenging, but you could definitely do it.
What do those go for usually?
Is what?
What do the 150s go for usually?
It really depends on the character, because you could get those on auction for like $15. But if it's like Darth Vader or Luke or Yoda, then they can end up going for almost $100. It really depends on the auction, but I would say, I don't know if, let's see, 83. Yeah. So I don't actually have that one, so I don't know, but I would imagine it'd be a $20 card.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good start.
Great start. I mean, we know that we got one here, so I've definitely gone through most of a box before pulling a numbered card, so the fact that you get one right away hopefully is boding well for the rest of the box.
All right. These cards are really cool in person, though. I really like them.
They're beautiful cards. They're absolutely beautiful. I was very excited when this set came out. I hope they continue the Galaxy series, although I don't look forward to it cleaning out my bank account. But they are very gorgeous cards. And for a base set of this, I mean, the non-refractor base set, it's usually like $50, give or take. They've sold for less, obviously, in auction, but I'd say most people have spent about $45, $50 at least to just buy a complete base set. And the refractor set, is worth a little more than that too.
Is there 100 cards in the base set?
There's 100 cards in the base set, yeah. And the sketch variations, there's 20 of those numbered from 81 to 100. You have 10 original trilogy concept arts, 15 vintage, and 25 video game art cards. So that completes the set, not including sketch cards, right?
So this is odd. Do you ever find cards backwards? I don't know that I've seen that before.
What do you mean?
This card is backwards.
Like the writing is backwards?
No. It was facing the wrong direction. Like, normally you pull them and the image is facing you. This is like image to image. So I guess this is a refractor.
If it says refractor, it's refractor. If it doesn't say it, it's base. That's what's confusing, because sometimes they look very similar. They all have that sort of glossy, oily type finish regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just weird because
that's that like chrome finish that they're doing on them, right? So
yeah. No, it was weird because I was expecting the image to be facing forward, but the image was backwards. Like the card was flipped around. Nice card though. All right. Number 3. It's funny when I pick up these packs of cards, part of me is like, ooh, this one feels different. Feels like it has a different way to it, but they're always exactly the same. At least in my experience, they're always the same. Here's a cool one. Base card. All right, well, again, concept art.
Okay, so we got a concept art card. Yep, so there's 10 of those. Cool. So there's one of them. So we're expecting another one in the box too.
Got a Lord Vader Stormtrooper. And the Stormtroopers refractor.
Nice card.
And then Sand Trooper atop a Dewback. I have to say, of all the cards that I've opened to date, I think these are the most satisfying, just as cards. All of them are really nice. And the side of this Vader is rough.
Yeah.
To your point about like quality control.
Yeah, the quality control in this set is rough. So to have a graded numbered card as a 10, I think the numbered cards they might have done a little bit better on the quality control than just your base set. I feel like the base set's like all over the place.
I will say on the Book of Boba Fett, one of the 99s I pulled out was just like had like a large nick on the side of it, just like right out of the pack.
That happens. They just get banged around in shipping or being passed around. So that is another risk to it. Hopefully it wasn't a card of big value.
No, not really. All right.
Yep, there's like the Wookiee War Dance or something.
Yep, War Dance.
Yep. Bounty Hunters reunited, right? Ton Chewie.
All right, we got an Anakin Refractor.
Okay, that's the number 100 card, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Controlling the Cantina.
Okay. Yep, we'll keep the refractors all together. But it's very attainable to get a refractor set. I mean, I'm trying to think you'll get maybe 20 refractors in this box, 18 to 20 maybe. So you do have to open a bunch, but it's easier to honestly just trade for them or buy mixed lots of other people's refractors than having to open another 10 boxes to try and complete a refractor set.
Fair enough. All right, Ewok under attack. All right, I'm guessing this is the vintage. Yeah.
I can't see it. Can you just load it down? Oh, okay. Yep, another vintage card. Yep, so there's 15 of those. So you got your 2 of those.
Shadow of the Dark Lord refractor. That's a fun one.
Yeah, that one in numbered variation is worth a little bit more. For sure. I pulled a Enter Darth Vader Mojo refractor to 50. That's a pretty badass card. But like anything with the main characters is going to be worth more for this set. So there's some cool images and scenes in this set, but what's great is, if you're just looking for like miscellaneous cards or collecting random singles of this, like most of the numbered cards from 150, 99, even 75, and some even 50, if they're the lesser known characters or not mains, then they're very affordable, which is good now that the set's kind of, had its heyday.
All right.
Yeah, that's a cool one too.
All right, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Ooh, 1 of 50.
1 of 50. Nice. So that's a purple video game one. So there's your second numbered card for this.
It's actually number 1 of 50.
Ooh, the alpha. Even better. There are people that collect just number 1s of numbered cards. That is like its own thing. So arguably that may command a little higher premium because it's number 1.
This, I have to look at it in more details, but this actually looks like a pretty nice card in good condition.
Well-centered and all that.
I would not describe myself as being knowledgeable enough on the well-centered piece, but...
yeah, I mean, grading Star Wars cards in general is kind of like... Some people have feelings about it. Some people like it. Depends on what you want to do with it, right? If it's for your personal collection, then you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. If you're going to plan on selling it or listing it, then some cards it makes sense to just grade it PSA and move on. But yeah, I have a massive stack myself. I'm not sure whether I want to send them all in for grading and whether I want to do them for PSA or HGA for myself, or just leave them raw and save myself a lot of money.
Well, I'll definitely have to get your take on this one when you can see it in person.
I think they're cool for part of a set. Like if I was putting together a set, then I wouldn't bother grading it because the set itself is going to have, you know, its own value, right? To be able to put those together. Very cool. So that's not a bad hit. Anything to 50 is good.
All right, we got a Han Solo refractor.
Yep.
And Enemy of the Empire.
Right. So yeah, with the base cards, I mean, if you're getting 3 base cards per pack and there's 18 packs, right? So you may get like duplicates from opening other boxes, but typically you can get a base set by opening like 3 boxes. But you know, again, I'm not encouraging anybody to buy 3 boxes to just get a base set. That's silly. You can certainly trade for extras and stuff.
All right.
I would join the top Star Wars community group, the regular group, if you have not already, because you can always list what you have or what you need have extra or what you're looking for or in search of, and people will be very eager to help because it's so much easier than dealing with eBay, right? Okay, we got another video game art card. Empire at War. I had this game for the computer. It was fun. Like, you would command your fleet in space and on the planet. So you had to take over it in space and take over it on the planet. It was more of like a, I don't know, like a tactical sort of game.
That's cool. I meant to say this before, but my 5-year-old's favorite game is Star Wars Battlefront 2. So he's going to be very happy about that.
Well, there you go.
All right. We got a Weequay refractor.
Okay.
A Lando base card. I do like the black border with the chrome, especially on like these portraits. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, those are reminiscent of earlier Galaxy sets that they've just added that chrome finish. So a lot of these cards have existed before, just not in this, you know, nice touched format. So if you look at the 93, 94 Galaxy sets, a lot of this art looks familiar. It just doesn't look as cool.
Interesting.
Because they're like, you know, remastered essentially by these sets. I think what flustered some people about this set was they used some of the same art cards from the 21 set. There were like at least 3 or 4 cards they used that were literally used last year, except now they have a border, which seems kind of silly. I mean, maybe you were cramming in stuff, but surely there's other cards to include when you're throwing together a new set. There's Greedo, yeah.
All right, we got a Clatonian Boss signature.
Clatonian Boss signature, unnumbered. So the white is unnumbered. So that's kind of a want on the auto. But to be honest, there's a lot of like rough autos in this set. So it is actually, yeah, I have a Clatonian Boss to 75 and 50, but I don't have an unnumbered one.
Maybe this one has your name on it.
So it's probably like a $10, maybe $15 auto. There's a lot of random autos in this set. There are some good ones, but there's certainly some really out there characters.
Is there any chance of hitting more than one auto, or is it strictly one auto per box?
You get the yeah, I think you really just find one auto per box. It could be a sketch, but for me, the biggest hunt was these numbered cards. Right? You could still get a sketch randomly inserted somewhere, but I would say you're looking for the number card. That's a cool card. I like that card a lot.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. We got
sketch variation.
Yep.
Is that 81? 80?
87.
87? Okay.
All right. We got an R2 refractor.
Yeah.
And Tuscans in their Bantha.
Yeah, the numbered variations of those portraits are quite desirable. And some people literally just collected the portrait cards and their variations. So instead of going for a whole set, they were just interested in those
Oh, I
portraits.
can see that.
Because they were almost like their own thing. Like the rest of the cards are art, but those are just portrait cards.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. All right. Pod racing.
Yep. It's Anakin's pod racer.
You got a fin refractor.
Fin refractor. Okay.
Definitely thought that was more than just a regular card, but just a nice card, I guess.
Yeah, they're just pretty. It's confusing, right? Because you kind of have to like really study to be like, oh, this is just a base card, like a refractor card. You're like, these are nice. Yeah, I think so. The 21 Galaxy used international poster art as part of their insert set, which was also really cool. I would have loved to have gotten a complete set of it. I just haven't coughed up the money for one. And to be honest, there's not many selling because I think most people that got them didn't want to get rid of them. So it's just one of those sets where all the cards are beautiful and nobody wants to get rid of them.
I love this Mace Windu card.
Yeah, that card is even cooler in purple.
I'm sure.
Just extra purple everywhere. But yeah, it's a neat card.
Okay, this looks like something. X-Wing Starfighter 38 of 50.
So that's a Mojo refractor. So it comes down at an angle. What number is that?
38 of 50.
No, what number
Oh, it's 12.
12. Okay. Yeah, I think I have the prism of that. I don't think I have
You know what's funny?
the X-Wing Starfighter. Yeah, that's a cool card.
I mentioned that I'd collected some of these on the Star Wars Card Trader app, and this is the one of two legendary cards from the set that I have on the app, and it's actually very similar. It's a super refractor on the app, but
okay,
cool. It's a sweet one.
Yeah, that's probably at least a $35 card.
All right,
that would be my guess.
All right, original trilogy concept art.
Tusken Raider, okay.
This sweet Anakin
in the sun, playing with the Tusken Raiders, no doubt. So you got a 50 video game art. You got a 50 of a base card parallel and a 150 of another base. So not terrible. The auto is kind of whatever, but you know, most of the autos in this set anyways are not much to get excited about. It really comes down to in my mind, the base numbered parallels that are really cool in this set.
I think we got 7 packs to go. So we got for Palpatine.
Okay.
Bounty Hunters.
Okay.
Salacious B. Crumb Refractor.
Of course.
And
Kylo Ren. Okay. Nothing too crazy there. So are there any cards that you've seen through this set that, you know, you're kind of hoping to see or hoping to pull that you just kind of were drawn to? I mean,
the Mace Windu card is my favorite card in the set.
Which card?
The Mace Windu card.
Oh, the Mace Windu card. Okay.
So if I didn't pull at least a base card, I was going to end up buying one. All right. Got this sweet Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Guessing this is the vintage.
Yep, there's your second vintage card. So now you've pulled both those.
Hilariously, this is the refractor. I was just saying that it was the only one I had. So naturally.
And now you've pulled it.
And then I think this Vader card is probably my second favorite card in the set. Lack of Faith.
Yeah, that's the numbered variations of those are actually quite expensive.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people go for that card when that arises.
I mean, that's one of the coolest. Like, I don't know. I really like that style of art. So there's also there's a Vader from 2021 Galaxy, I think, that I also really like. But that's one of my favorite Vader pieces of art, I think.
The 21 set is gorgeous. I was very late to the game with that, but in retrospect, I mean, I was happy to have a refractor set, but I would have loved to have ripped some of the product when that was coming out. But it's so expensive. I mean, even now boxes are over $600. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yep. All right. We got an Echo refractor.
Okay.
Creatures of the Cantina and Wedge Antilles.
Okay.
It looks like 4 packs to go.
All right. So this is, let's see. So we have our 3 numbered cards in auto. So we're hoping to get at least another numbered card out of this box. I think you only have 1 video game card, right?
No, I have 2.
Oh, you have 2.
Okay. There's one of the numbered cards.
Oh, yeah. Battlefront 2 and yeah. Okay, so we pulled the 2 vintage cards, the 2 video game cards, and the 2 original trilogy concept art cards. Right? You got Tusken Raider and what was the other one? Was it Ewok? Yeah, Ewoks. So we won't see any more inserts. So now we're just hoping to get numbered base parallels.
X-Wing Starfighter. Chewbacca.
Okay.
The medical droid. I weirdly like this card.
Yeah, also not an expensive card to get numbered of.
I'm not shocked to hear that, but I think it is weird and cool. It's very like American Horror Story.
It is a weird looking card, isn't it?
All right.
I have it in 150, 75, and 50. I don't have it in 99, but since they're not expensive, I will keep my eye out for it.
Here we go. All right, we got Crosshair, Wicket W. Warwick refractor.
Okay.
Cobb Vanth and Emperor Palpatine.
Okay.
All right, last 2. Give me something good.
2 packs. Moment of truth. I have to say, I did enjoy ripping these boxes. I was sad when I was done ripping them. But they're just so expensive.
Yeah. All right, we got a base card sketch variation.
Okay. So now you have 2 base sketch variations, right? So now you have both.
So I got back-to-back Poe Damerons.
Base and refractor?
Yep.
That happens. It's kind of weird, but it happens. So you have 1 more pack?
1 more.
All right. Let's
see.
Get another numbered card. I tried like figuring out like which packs had the numbered stuff, but honestly, it was different every time I opened them. So they did kind of scramble them around.
How many did you normally get in a box? 3 or 4, you said?
Yeah, if it's a good day, you might get 5 numbered cards, but you have 3, right?
Yeah.
Let's hope this pack is good. Sometimes they're 3.
All right. Well, it looks like I got another.
Oh, the Shadows of the Empire one. Yeah, that's the one I graded with a custom label because I thought it was a cool card. I mean, Shadows of the Empire was such a cool game at a time when N64 was all hot.
Yoda Refractor, and then
yeah, that Enter Darth Vader one is a popular card too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's a cool looking card. Had I not pulled a numbered one of that, I don't think I would have bought it because I wouldn't have wanted to pay over $100 for it.
Fair enough. All right. So how did I do?
So what are your impressions before we say anything about it? I want to get your fresh take on this as this is your first box rip of this product.
I have to say, on an individual card basis, these are probably my favorite cards I've ever opened. Like, the art is cool, and I hear the point that if they've used this art before, that's a little bit sketch. But having not really opened these before, I think the art is cool. Or not having opened a lot of Galaxy stuff in the past, I would say. I think the art is really cool. I think the finish on these cards are really fun. I think so as compared to other like Topps Chrome stuff that I've opened in the past, I think the variation in the cards, like related to the art, makes the Chrome shine a lot more than products where the cards all basically look the same. So like the baseball cards, for example, it's basically the same format of every card. So it's just sort of like, okay, yeah, it's shiny. Yeah, it's shiny. Next one is shiny. And this one, each one you pull out, you're like, ooh, that's cool because it like reflects in a different way. So I think that's fun. So I feel like they're very high quality cards. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun to open.
Yeah, I think I brought it up earlier, but I think some people were upset that they couldn't see the artist name who did some of the cards because they're not all from the same artist, right? These are all spanning different artists, and some people really like certain artists and want to make sure they get credit where it's due for those. But outside the border, I think the border definitely makes some of the parallels, like purple and red, actually stand out, whereas the 21 version only had the Star Wars logo. The tiny box would be red or purple, so you almost wouldn't even know it's a numbered parallel until you looked at the back. Whereas the clear border defines this is a numbered variety of this, color or whatever. Like as soon as you said you got purple or something, like we knew that was 50 right away, as opposed to just having a stamp on the back. Because if you were going to put it in a binder or look at it graded, even like you're just like kind of looking at the front, it might look all the same. So like, why would you want to pay a lot more for it just because there's some stamp on the back of it? Essentially.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a beautiful set. They're cool cards to look at, and there's some interesting stuff in here. I didn't really care that much about the vintage cards, but that's just me personally. The original trilogy concept art is okay. The video game art is really cool. I think that's really awesome. That's definitely a highlight of it. But yeah, once you start gathering more of these like numbered paste parallels, like it's just really cool to see all the different varieties and versions of these cards that everyone likes.
So what do you think is what is the least valuable of the parallels? Like if I wanted to try to start collecting a parallel set of these, like how much would I be paying each card?
Honestly, like 80% of them you could get at auction for, maybe you can get lucky at $10, but I'd say most are going to be 15 or $20, even through Wave and some Prisms. It's really when you get to some of the Darth Vader, Luke, even some of the Boba Fett cards, people are more interested in those cards because you got different kinds of collectors going after those same cards, like people that are just collecting Darth Vader cards or Boba Fett cards or whatever. So I think you'll find the last like 20 cards of a set to be very challenging. More people probably are chasing rainbows. Like I saw a few cards that I'd gotten in a row, and I'm like, I might as well see if I can get a rainbow or close to a rainbow. And then I start looking at it that way and less about trying to complete all of a 150 set or 99 set. I mean, I think for the inserts or sketch variations, I was just like, I'm going to commit to sketch variation because I had a lot of green ones, so I ended up getting all those. And then I was like, maybe I'll chase some purples. You know, if I don't get it, I don't get it. But to me, it's like challenging but attainable. So, and I think doing like original trilogy concept art is also a very attainable set. I think getting the 99s is totally doable. It may take you a few months to do, but you could do that under a year easily. Just a matter of finding them or seeing when they're auctioned. I think some people list the prices for these cards like pretty high, but in looking at sold auctions, you know, like the demand isn't there to be asking for a lot of money for most of these cards. It's just not, you know, and you think about all the people that already have the cards that they now needed or wanted, and it's not top of mind as much anymore because you have so many new sets coming out for 2023 and people are looking forward because it's kind of like box of the quarter, right? You know, for a little while it was kind of hot, but it's still a beautiful set. It's still a better tentpole set than say your, you know, Andor Book of Boba Fett, but Kobe Kenobi show, or even my Bounty Hunter set. You know, some of the other stuff is just kind of like here it comes, there it goes kind of set. This is something I think that may have a little more legacy to it. Not as much as the 21, just because COVID was absurd, but I don't know if, you know, the super hype for Star Wars cards is, you know, not quite where it was. But if I had to put my money on a certain set, that it would be Galaxy would be up there because these are art cards. You know, like these aren't just photos from the show or movie. These are artist renderings and variations of that. That's cool. People like that. People are drawn to that stuff. You know, it's unique, it's different.
I think the thing I like often think about is like, what's the reason for actually collecting, right? And like my rationale for wanting to collect these is like, it's a cool set of art in the same way that buying art in any other context is cool, right? As opposed to, like you said, just being like, you know, I don't need to relive every moment of the Book of Boba Fett show, which I thought was, you know, not the best of the
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's okay. I mean, I think Mandalorian stole Boba Fett's thunder when they tried inventing a Boba Fett story. You can't do that because you just did the Mandalorian. You can't have Mandalorian 2.0 through Boba Fett. Now he's got to be something different. So this is what they chose to run with. I think they had some choices in that show, like those color speeders in primary colors. That was weird. That just didn't look right. So there's some stuff that kind of like just bugs me off the top, but overall it's not a bad show. I think these Galaxy cards, because they're artist cards, it kind of reminds me of like some of the Marvel comic cards. You know, that they have a lot of appeal. They're really interesting. People are drawn to the artist interpretations of stuff. And these cards, like when I saw those Galaxy cards last year, you know, it like resonated, like these are very cool cards. Like I gotta get my hands on some of these, you know. And I never really said that before because I've seen Topps classic cards. Like the vintage stuff does nothing for me. I don't care, you know. Like I'm glad people think it's neat and the rookie cards and all that. They just don't have the same draw as this does. So I hope they continue to do more artistic style sets like this with variations and parallels, because now we have the best of both worlds, right? We get cool artist interpretations and limited collector variations, so we can chase sets and chase for rare stuff, and that's all fun, you know. As the collector in me, that's awesome. So
yeah, absolutely. I did want to ask you, you keep mentioning the Andor set. Are you talking about the Topps Now set for Andor, or is there another Andor set?
No, they have that. They did launch a Chrome set not long ago that has Andor in it. But yeah, that's kind of more or less what I was.
Because I was looking at the launch dates for the right. So 2022 they did the Book of Boba Fett cards, and then 2023 they're doing the Obi-Wan Kenobi cards, and Andor is next up in the order of their show releases. So I'm wondering if we're going to get Andor like season 1.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely do a dedicated set, but it'll be like a Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan set. It won't be like a tentpole thing, but it will be something some people will be really drawn to. And frankly, Andor was a fantastic show. Like, it was really good.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I think Andor is the best of the Star Wars shows by like a country.
Hands down. It's like blows my mind. I mean, it's a slow burn, right? Like starting off, if you were just to kind of like get into it from the beginning, but like the depth, complexity, the characters, like all of it is just like really draws you in. I think Tony Gilroy in his, Bourne Identity style spy thriller take is fantastic, because he's not necessarily a Star Wars fan trying to be shackled with all the information overload that is Star Wars. It's just like, let's just write a good story and then insert planet here. That can be done by the Star Wars nerd, but we can focus on just writing a really cool story of nitty gritty. And I just love that style, because Rogue One definitely was like, I think I saw it with you. I was like, this is like a 4.8 out of 5. I was like, this is fantastic. The intro was a little weird, like kind of threw me off, right? But that was just awesome. It's like a World War II style movie, sacrifice play. Like, that's right up my alley. So yeah, I can't wait for Andor season 2. And I think it's going to actually make leading up to watching the original trilogy that much better. I can't say enough about some of the acting sequences. What am I saying? Stellan Skarsgård, his monologue after that elevator sequence where he's like hiding in the like, I don't know, some like underground hideout, and talks about how he'll never live to see the sunset or sunrise, over a galaxy that's, torn apart. I mean, that was just like jaw dropping. That was just jaw dropping stuff. Like, Boba Fett doesn't have anything like that, that was more light and campy and fluffy. But
no, the Andy
Serkis.
I was just gonna say, I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but the resolution of the prison sequence with Andy Serkis was just like, I mean, that was
amazing. And what's funny? I saw on a side note, there was somebody who went to see Andy Serkis or get autograph, and they brought with them a life raft or like a ring, and they gave it to him. I thought that was brilliant. So they have like a picture of them giving him like a swim ring or something.
That's hilarious.
I was like, that's brilliant. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. In terms of how it translates to the cards, though, yeah, I think Galaxy 22 maybe had some of the hype from the prior year going for it, but I just think they're cool. It's cool cards, cool set, and I hope they continue to bring those out. So, getting your final impressions, would you buy another box? Are you going to go for a certain set, or you just kind of like, hey, I got these, I'm cool with these, and move on?
So I don't think this is a reflection of the cards, but I don't think I would pay full price for another box, because I feel like at $350 a box, you're really gambling that you're going to get something good that's expensive. And like, I'm not a big seller of cards, but I'm also not I'm not the type of person who's going to pay $1,000 for like an individual card either. So I don't know that I'm necessarily like, the difference between like this Mojo refractor that I think is pretty cool and like a 5 of 5, like, the difference in price there is massive probably, but the difference in how much I would get out of it is probably not that great. So I feel like at that price point, it's probably too much for me. This one was $250, which I think is pretty fair for what's in here.
Yeah, it's cheap for the box, but I agree with you, because you probably pulled no more than $150 worth of cards, maybe $125 or something. But that's ultimately what I learned from ripping the case is you're going for the big stuff. And if you don't pull that, then you're basically kind of cut your value in half. Even if you do pull number cards, because the singles are so cheap on eBay. You can get a lot of autos and a lot of numbered parallels, anywhere from 75s to the 150s, for $20 or less. Sometimes I've gotten some for total steals when they go on 99-cent auctions and nobody really bids on them. So I'm always looking every day on the Galaxy 2022 new listings or ending soon. And then I see if there's any numbered cards in there. And if there's something I don't have, then I'll usually bid on it. And if it goes for a high price, then I usually don't chase it, but I'm hoping to catch some, easy wins. So if it does go for cheap, then I didn't let it pass. Like, I got it. And that's how I've gotten most of my numbered parallels and autos from this set, because I definitely didn't pull all this stuff from ripping the boxes. If I had known that, I would not have ripped all the boxes, probably. Like, there was maybe 1 or 2 boxes that I enjoyed ripping because I got some cards I would not have gotten as singles because they were more expensive. But ultimately, there's plenty available to buy online. So I would look on eBay for good deals of cards that you think are cool and, get what you like. I wouldn't worry about finishing a set. I don't know anybody who's completed a 150 or 99 or any of those sets of the base. I've never seen it. I'm not saying it's not done or somebody hasn't done it. I'm sure there is. But this was more about, like, what cards do you like? What art cards do you like? And grab some of those and move on, or get a rainbow and move on. I think that's what a lot of people did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, your point about, like, sniping a bit at the end. I ended up winning a 50 parallel patch card for the Book of Boba Fett set last night for 99 cents. And, like, when stuff like that happens, it sort of makes me wonder about the market.
I think it depends on who's paying attention sometimes, right? If they end at weird times or, like...
Well, like, but that does... I've never seen that happen with baseball cards. Like, there are enough baseball card collectors that it is very difficult. You may find a relative deal, right? You may pay $80 for a card that's worth $100. But, like, I've never seen a card go, like, way below what, like, a niche collector is willing to pay because just nobody was looking. So it is like...
Yeah, I got some patch cards that were numbered low for like $7 or $8, just because it was me and like one other person. We both committed to not paying more than like $10 for these cards.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. It's just like, again, to the point that, like, why do we do this? What do we get out of it? I think understanding the market is, like, I find markets very interesting. And so, like, Star Wars cards are just very different from baseball cards and Pokemon cards and other things. And I don't think I've quite gotten my finger yet on, like, how big I think the market is or where I think it's going to go. So, yeah, interesting to see.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you for sharing your Galaxy rip. Hope to do more rips with you. Obviously, you're newer to this, but we're all equally fascinated with where this is going, and hope you continue to collect. And definitely join some of the top Star Wars collecting groups if you haven't already on Facebook. They are quite active and will help you trade and buy stuff that will save you some money on the eBay front, because we all hate paying those eBay fees. So if you don't have to pay them, then let's not. So screw you, eBay. We need you, but we also hate you at the same time.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for having me. We'll definitely do this again.